What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 5, Monday Night Football.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to give you my top DFS picks for this Monday Night Football showdown between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Green Bay Packers. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at this Monday Night Football showdown between the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders. So at the quarterback position, I like Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Jordan Love has averaged 22.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4 rush attempts per game. He's going to be about 50% owned, projected at 17.6 fantasy points here tonight. He's 9,800 DraftKings salary. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Packers trailing by 2. So it's a good matchup here, and both these quarterbacks about the same price, projected at about the same ownership. But it looks like Jordan Love has a better matchup than does Jimmy Garoppolo. And guys, I am a little bit concerned about Jimmy Garoppolo and his relationship with the coach. That game that they lost a couple games ago was pretty bad there when they pulled Jimmy for the field goal. Jimmy basically had the opportunity to win the game. They needed like 2 yards for a first down and like 8 yards for a touchdown to tie the game and go ahead with the 2-point conversion to tie the game. The game was in Jimmy's hands, and the coach just literally took the game away from Jimmy, took the chance away from Jimmy to win the game. I don't know, man. If that was me, it'd be hard for me to play for the coach. I said that last week. I went ahead, I bet against the Raiders. I believe Jimmy was out, so didn't really count, but I'm going to go ahead and bet against them again here tonight. I do think Jimmy Garoppolo struggles. I think it's going to be a mental battle for him moving forward, and a team that doesn't play together or trust each other is not a team that's going to be productive. Now, I could be wrong. Let's see what happens here. Maybe these guys are professionals. They're going to go out there and work hard for themselves regardless of the situation for the coach. They're also working for a paycheck to get starting quarterback on the team, so they want to perform as best they can regardless of the relationship with the coach. So take all of that with a grain of salt. But either way here, I still like Jordan Love here versus the Las Vegas Raiders.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. So, because I don't think they're going to be throwing the ball a ton here tonight, I like Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Green Bay Packers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Now, Josh Jacobs averaging 14.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 15.5 rush attempts per game, and 6.3 pass targets per game, so tons of volume. He's been on the field for 76% of the snaps. It's going to be about 63% owned, projected at 16.5 fantasy points here tonight. He's 10,600 DraftKings salary. So Josh Jacobs has scored 28, 11 and 10 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He got 17, 17, and 9 rush attempts on top of 11, 5, and 6 pass targets in those games. So 28 touches for Josh Jacobs last week. I have a feeling he's going to be the workhorse back here tonight. It's a good matchup, and it's going to be a good relief to Jimmy Garoppolo while he gets back in rhythm. So I like Josh Jacobs here versus the Green Bay Packers. Okay, another running back that I like here. So Aaron Jones, guys, he's questionable. Was limited in practice on Saturday. Just keep an eye on the injury news. If he does play and he's a full go, he's going to be about 36% owned. He's 10,000 DraftKings salary, averaging 14.6 fantasy points per game on the season. Not a lot of volume so far this season. Looks like he's been struggling to get healthy here. So just a word of caution on Aaron Jones, but he is a stud, so if he plays, he does have opportunity, but I would prefer saving some salary here and going with a safer play in A.J. Dillon from the Green Bay Packers, playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 10th worst defense overall, middle of the pack defending opposing running backs. So A.J. Dillon only averaging 4.3 fantasy points per game on the season, but he is getting an average of 11 rush attempts per game and 1.3 pass targets per game. So pretty good volume here, especially with a questionable Aaron Jones. So he's going to be about 26% owned, and he's been on the field for 58% of the snaps. Of course, he's been getting the touches for Aaron Jones, who might be coming back here tonight. So, he hasn't been super productive this season, even on a decent touch count. So if Aaron Jones comes back and eats into that touch count, could be a difficult day for A.J. Dillon, but he is only 4,600 DraftKings salary. So I do think he's a value play here that has some upside, especially if Aaron Jones is limited, or if he just gets his share of carries, gets 11 touches in this game. I think he's got a good chance at hitting value. So I like A.J. Dillon here versus the Las Vegas Raiders.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. So I like Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 10th worst defense overall, give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Romeo Doubs averaging 15.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.3 pass targets per game, going to be about 32% owned, on the field for 75% of the snaps, projected at 11.6 fantasy points here tonight. He's 8,200 DraftKings salary. Now, Romeo Doubs has scored 19, 18, and 5 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 13, 12, and 3 pass targets. So his pass targets absolutely just lit up the past couple of games. 25 targets in 2 games. Pretty productive as well, and a good matchup. So I like Romeo Doubs here versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I like these other Green Bay Packer wide receiver ones, Christian Watson and Jaden Reed. Both these guys I think are good options as well. So Romeo Doubs going to be about 32% owned, coming in at 8,200 DraftKings salary. Christian Watson going to be about 35% owned, coming in at 7,800 DraftKings salary. And Jaden Reed going to be about 25% owned, coming in at 6,200 DraftKings salary. Jaden Reed looks like the guy that I would want to play as a value play here.
averaging 11.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.3 pass targets per game. Looks like he's had some nice consistent volume over the last 3 games, 5, 7, and 8 pass targets. So, yeah, I like all of these Green Bay wide receivers. I think you can play any of these guys or stack 2 of them up with their quarterback, and that's the way I'm going to play this slate. But if you're looking for a Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver, the man is going to be Jacoby Myers from the Las Vegas Raiders, playing the Green Bay Packers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They have been pretty good versus opposing wide receivers. Now, Jacoby Myers, he's averaged 16.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.7 pass targets per game. Gonna be about 43% owned, projected at 12.3 fantasy points here tonight. He's 7,000 DraftKings salary. Now keep in mind, Davante Adams is questionable for this game. Limited on practice on Saturday. Now if Davante Adams plays, he's gonna suck up a lot of that ownership, 67% ownership. But if he doesn't play or if he is limited, Jacoby Myers, of course, garnering a lot of that ownership at only 7,000 DraftKings salary. So I like Jacoby Myers here versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, if you're looking for a sleeper pick here, kind of a dart throw play, but especially with Davante Adams being questionable, I think this play makes a ton of sense. Take a look at Hunter Renfrow from the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Green Bay Packers. Now, Hunter Renfrow hasn't gotten a lot of targets this season, only 1.8 pass targets per game on the season, but he did get 4 pass targets last game, only put up 3 fantasy points. But if he can get a handful of pass targets in this game at 2,200 DraftKings salary and only 10% ownership, I think he could be a sleeper pick or a value play, a dart throw play that opens up that salary in your lineup to fit in those studs that you want to play. So I like Hunter Renfrow here versus the Green Bay Packers. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. I like Luke Musgrave from the Green Bay Packers playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the 10th worst defense overall, middle of the pack to opposing tight ends. Luke Musgrave averaging 6.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 70% of the snaps, going to be about 26% owned. Now he's projected at 7 fantasy points here tonight. He's 5,200 DraftKings salary, so although I do prefer those Green Bay wide receivers, if you do need to save some salary here, you can't fit in one of those wide receivers, you want a decent pass catcher that's going to get probably a handful of targets here tonight. And I like Luke Musgrave here versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Just one thing to keep an eye on here, Luke Musgrave, his last 3 games, he scored 1, 11, and 5 fantasy points off of 1, 8, and 3 pass targets. So not a lot of consistent volume, but if he does get those targets, he'll have a good opportunity here tonight. So I do like Luke Musgrave if you can't afford the wide receivers from Green Bay. Now, if you're looking for a low salary play here, this is the true dart throw play here. At only 600 DraftKings salary for the Las Vegas Raiders, you got Austin Hooper. And the Green Bay Packers, middle of the pack defense overall, middle of the pack defending opposing tight ends. Now, Austin Hooper, only 2.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 1.3 pass targets per game. Scored 2 fantasy points last game off of 2 pass targets. So this is a dart throw here. He's going to be about 13% owned. Been on the field for 57% of the snaps. Projected at 4 fantasy points here tonight. Only 600 DraftKings salary. So if Austin Hooper does happen to score a touchdown, certainly could find his way into the winning lineup. So I like Austin Hooper here as a dart throw sleeper pick here versus the Green Bay Packers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.